Evangelion, the worst and best show possibly ever made, showing the most disgusting sides of humanity, depression, and our own mind. The story of Evangelion begins with a world currently under the threat of angels. I will not go into much detail about them, however, they are currently attacking a fort city called Tokyo 3, where protagonist Shinji Ikari lives. He is requested to be brought to NERV headquarters by Misato Katsuragi, where the following scenes ensue. When Shinji first travels to NERV headquarters, he admits to not knowing much about his father, Gendo, only seeming to know that he works at an organization that serves in order to protect the world. Already, the viewer can feel confused, and as humans, our instincts make us want to know everything, something which ultimately causes our own downfall. But we're supposed to trust the big organizations to keep us safe, right? We shouldn't question them, right? Absolute Terror Fields, The Hedgehog's Dilemma, and Instrumentality. In episode 4, Shinji runs away from Katsuragi's place and becomes a living example of the Hedgehog's Dilemma. The concept is, a porcupine looks for warmth with other porcupines, yet it's unable to find it as their quills end up hurting the other, forever to live in a state of cold longing. This is the exact case with Shinji and every living being's own quills. AT fields. Human self-possessed absolute terror fields, which keep us safe from being hurt by others. We run from others in fear of being hurt, yet crave the warmth that intimacy gives us. But what happens when we, as a species, wish to advance and unite completely? Well, this is the Human Instrumentality Project. Seele, the organization supervising NERV, deems humanity as irredeemable and aims to inherently reset it by uniting everyone's souls and thoughts into one entity. Essentially, the project's ultimate goal is to bring all humans' AT fields down in order for all to understand each other's thoughts and feelings, no matter how dark they may be. An example of what the project is wishing to prevent is the lines exchanged between Gendo, Yui, and Kaoru during the third impact in the end of Evangelion. Gendo states that he believes he cannot be loved by anybody, and that is his reason for leaving Shinji behind, in fear he'd hurt him, which Kaoru responds with, "You're just running away before you can get hurt." During the main series of Evangelion, in episodes 25 through 26, Shinji accepts his reality and other people's suffering. He realizes the world's suffering and the world's joy, deciding it is better that people keep on living instead of merging into one during instrumentality. Instead of ending like this, however, End of Evangelion is basically the antithesis of what the main series ended with. In the movie finale, Shinji realizes how he'll keep getting hurt again and again, and in this moment accepts instrumentality. Rei, who is carrying the fetus of Adam, then merges with what is Lilith's body in Central Dogma and begins the third impact. This creates anti-AT fields, which we see in the end of Evangelion, which basically melt people down into LCL, tearing down their physical form. After the third impact happens and everybody's souls have ascended, Shinji and Gigantic Rei have a conversation at what I describe as the end of the world. Where am I? An ocean of LCL, the ocean that is the origin of life. A world without AT fields, where the self has lost its shape. A world where you don't know where you end and others begin. An ambiguous world where you are everywhere and nowhere. Am I dead? No. Everybody has merged into one. I don't think this is what I want. If you wish for the existence of others, psychological walls will divide everyone again. The fear of others will begin again. Rei's final line describes Shinji's dilemma, as he wishes for everybody to stay divided as individuals, yet fears and craves the intimacy from others. After this exchange of lines, Kaoru asks Shinji, "Are you alright with AT fields hurting yourself and others again?" Which Shinji responds with, "I don't mind, but who are you two inside my heart?" which Ayanami and Koro respond to, stating that they are the hope that people might understand each other once again. Shinji, however, refutes their statements, claiming that they are a facade, knowing he'll be betrayed once again once people are divided by ET fields and are made into individuals. After all this is said, the next few scenes are just as hard to explain as the entire series of Evangelion, so I will skip talking about them for now. After all humans and souls have ascended from Earth though, we're shown a past with Gendo and Yui, discussing their plans for Ava's. Gendo asks if Yui's ultimate plan was to create a machine in God's image, to which she replies with, "Yes, humans can only live on this planet, but Ava's can live forever, alongside the souls that have been implanted inside of them." Their conversation seems to suggest she wishes for even just a smear of evidence that humanity once existed to remain forever, with the soul trapped inside the Ava to continue existing even after our universe is destroyed. We're now in the end of Evangelion. Only Shinji and Asuka remain, with Shinji choking her, rejecting the truths she represents. Shinji has rejected everything up to this point, ran away from nearly all that's hurt him, and having the luxury of being able to cry when he wants, and now that's strangling the living representation of his own rejection. Yet nobody can bear anything on their own for so long, thus Shinji eventually breaks down at the beginning of eternity. Asuka's single line at the end is simple, yet gut-wrenching, disgusting. For this to be the last word said at the literal end of the world is probably, in my opinion, the most impactful line in the entire movie. Some may find it as a bad way to end the series, seeing it as abrupt or just way too sudden, but in my opinion, it's the perfect way to end of the movie of a decade. Shinji's final rejection ending the entire movie, signifying a lonely, lonely eternity.